I'm done. What up? I'm still not done. I'm still working on my hair. I still need to go and get more packs. But I have a bad feeling that because of the parade today, all the places are about to be closed at like 4 o'clock. I'm gonna call the hair store and see, but I don't know why. You can watch it online. You can watch it anywhere online. Yeah, I did a lot, but I'm not all the way done. Oh, I'm glad that y'all were watching my vids. That's cute. But yeah, I'm almost done. I have a large section. It's like a large middle section, but this shit is taking me a minute. My girlfriend, I don't think she didn't like it. I think like she just really hasn't commented on on it. Like it's been a crazy past couple of days. Like she's been working so hard because makeup artists in the city, like for Mardi Gras, like there's money to be made. And book to read me. I said I'm roasting the video. It says Beyonce video roast. But I mean, I feel like if you got feelings about Beyonce, I wouldn't have any feelings about anybody who had feelings about Beyonce. I'm also cool with people who don't like Beyonce. That's okay. I don't think the song is trash. I just think it's a very, like, it just seems really forced, low key. Mainly, Beyonce just put out a song on a new video called Formation. If you haven't seen it, it takes place in post Katrina New Orleans, meaning like there was water that was flooding, and like it low key, like ever since I started dating my partner, like her just talking to me about the insensitivity of people just asking questions like what was it like, or people even just coming up and being like, was this area flooded, and I don't have those memories. I don't know what it's like to have to like wake up and essentially everything you ever knew is gone, to have your home be destroyed. I just felt like it was a situation where it just felt very exploitative, mainly because she is so rich and she's been rich for a minute, and she was rich when Katrina happened. So it was one of those things where it's like, I don't know exactly what you did during Katrina, boo, but like seemingly people fuck with you, but I feel like people fuck with Beyonce and Jen. I don't think they know exact. I don't know that I don't think anybody knew that Beyonce was like flooding a part of New Orleans, or like implying that a part of New Orleans was flooded and sitting on top of a cop car. You know what I mean? And then the like her at the end drowning with the cop car. I just thought that shit was just like, it was like faux symbolic. Like it just made me feel like any person who lived in New Orleans who was an entertainer could have used that and it been like 100% more understandable than Beyonce. Because I just felt like Beyonce, like, where were you during Katrina, girl? I low key want to find out. Like, because I'm just like, I know you wasn't in the water. I know you wasn't stranded on a cop car. So I feel kind of fucked up about it, if I'm being quite honest with you. And again, I wasn't here for Katrina. I came 5 years after Katrina. I had relatively no understanding of the complexity of Katrina, because my only knowledge was watching the news coverage in class when it was happening, and when I was in the East Coast, and buying that fucking Spike Lee documentary, which I regret because I feel like Spike Lee wasn't there the fuck neither. So I feel like, yes, like he's like a black director and shit like that, but I feel like there's so many black directors in New Orleans that I know that I'm sure have their own, you know what I mean, documentaries of shit that happened that'll never see the light of day because people like Spike Lee just fucking come through and they see blackness as a monolith. Like there's so many black famous people that see blackness as a monolith. They think and I feel like low-key Beyonce is one of those black people, because I feel like you have to really be jaded as fuck. You have to really be like wanting to like be a fucking energy vampire to go to New Orleans and recreate some fucking tragedy that was like man-made. It's like, you can say whatever you want about the storm happening, but the storm is not what destroyed New Orleans infrastructure and flooded out those people. And the storm wasn't what didn't respond to the people immediately. You feel what I'm saying here? Like, this is a fucking national tragedy. And I just feel like Beyonce is again in the media pretending to be somewhere, you know what I mean? Because it's like, even if she was in India, bitch, you was never in India in a movie. Like, you was never in India as a god. You've never been an Indian god. So it's just like, I just feel like it's that light skin, like, ambiguously racial shit where I feel like if she was darker skinned, people would have a problem with this. People would have a problem with her, or not, perhaps not for this video, but the Indian video. If she was a darker skinned entertainer, Southeast Asian folks, Desis, they would have fucking dragged. They would have went in. But in terms of this, I feel like Beyonce is Southern and be claiming, you know, my mom is from Louisiana, so I can claim this. And I just wonder, you know, about parental heritage and like how much we can really claim, you know what I mean, if our parents aren't really claiming the shits, you know what I mean? It's like, for so long, you've been claiming Texas. Your family's been claiming Texas. So it's like, as much as I said she could come to New Orleans and do something and nobody would be mad, this is what I meant. She could come to New Orleans and do some fucking appropriative ass shit, do some insensitive ass shit, and nobody cares really. And I'm saying that in terms of like just folks in the community participating in this shit. You know, I seen a lot of familiar faces in that video, and I just thought it was interesting how like these people just happen to be on the street in abundance, you know what I mean, popping and gyrating for Beyonce, and then the whole time all the cutscenes where it's just her and her like elite famous folks. It's like she's in her mansion home. She's fucking in like seemingly a very beautiful mansion, like a southern plantation mansion, which I'm pretty sure is her home. She has her daughter pretending to be her, which I thought was really cute. Like, I think that's like the only part I really liked, was seeing Blue run around and give me Beyonce baby realness. I was like, yes, you know what I mean? Go in, slay. But other than that, you know what I mean? All I can say is like Team Blue Ivy. Like, throughout the whole video, that's all I could really say. It's certainly a plantation. I'm pretty sure, well, my thing is this, like, if they want to take over a plantation, I don't know, I just didn't feel like it was symbolic. Like, I felt like the black child, like, doing, like, the little step dance in front of the police, and the police putting their hands up. It's like, that still doesn't shift the dynamic of power. Like, police putting their hands up is still scary. Like, I don't know, like, it was just a lot of imagery. It was just so much imagery. It was, like, really, like, it made me physically ill for her to start off with, like, New Orleans, like, underwater. I was kind of just like, yo, like, do you even know? Like, do you even know? And the thing about it is, like, so many New Orleanians are gonna watch this shit and probably be down with it off the fact that they're seeing their people in it in the background, you know what I mean? Seeing famous places around the city, feeling really comfortable, hearing Big Frida's voice in the background. Like, Big Frida could really read the fucking phone book and you will really be down with that shit. So it's just like so many experiences in this one short video, and it just had me kind of just like, damn, you know, it just seemed so much. It just seemed like she was trying to, give like black austerity. It seemed like she was trying to give like black New Orleans money, but then it seemed like she was also trying to give, you know, black activist realness, and I feel like that's what we're going to be seeing a lot of. I feel like 2016 is the year of like the black activists, or the black activists for pay type of situation, where you start to see a little bit of imagery, but no real stances. You know what I mean? Beyonce seemingly wrote a whole fucking letter about feminism, about women of color not making enough money, or rather, it wasn't even about women of color. It was primarily about women. It was like this broad ass thing, but it's like she has no critiques of like anti-blackness, and it's like a bitch, you're mad famous. Like, I don't know. Like, I just feel so fucked up about it. It like makes my skin crawl. And Annie Leibovitz shot it, of course. I don't know. I feel like the thing is also, though, like, what can folks offer us in this age? You know what I mean? When everything has seemingly been done. We've had so many eras in music. I feel like folks just feel like they gotta top it. They gotta come out with new shit. And it's like, damn, like, New Orleans is still raw. Like, the 10-year anniversary was like a couple months ago, actually. Not that long ago. It was like this past August that passed. So it's kind of just like, damn, you know, like, just 10 years, you know, just 10 years ago, all this shit was popping off, and it's like 10 years ago, but you still have coin. I'm like, trying to think, I'm like, when I was 16, I know Beyonce had money. So, I don't know. And it's like, granted, like, she might not have been like, you know, as affluent as she is right now, but it's just like, I just didn't see no reaching out or no support. It made it seem like she was affected by Katrina by living there, by claiming this land. And it was kind of just like, bitch, you didn't though. But I don't know. It's just like, I really did want to come through. Yes, rich artists using other people's experiences. That's what it is. I just feel like we haven't gotten a video of Beyonce in Texas. I feel like she talked about Texas. I feel like we saw the Star Search footage. There's got to be more footage from her around Houston. There's got to be some information, you know what I mean, or some videos or some pictures. Well, bitch, I didn't get into it like that. I can't lie to you. I didn't get into it like that. But still, I don't know. I just feel like it could have went a whole different way. Like the song is called Formation. Ladies get in formation. It's clearly a pop anthem. And I think that's my other issue is like, you could have really did a tribute to fucking post-Katrina in New Orleans. Like on some like, let's like show the people that are still here resilient. Like, let's share some of their tales. You know what I mean? She could have done some shit that was really bomb. I think that's my main issue with Beyonce. It's like, bitch, you don't even be thinking about your legacy of work. It's like, what was the point of this? It's like all you really did was just show some like exploitative ass shit, and people love to come to New Orleans and like ask people about the flood, ask people about the damage. There was damage from Katrina. But in terms of New Orleans, in terms of all that water piling up in the way back in the hood, in the ghetto, it's very clear. If you come to this city and you spend some time here, you will realize that it was very much strategic. You will realize that it doesn't make any sense for the water to be this fucking close, you know what I mean, to the French Quarter and be flooding the motherfucking 9th Ward, be flooding the motherfucking 8th Ward. It don't make sense. So it's definitely bothersome. You know what I mean? I feel like that's what bothers me about Beyonce is like, it's like, bitch, do you be near the levees? Like, do you clock the tea? I just feel like if you was really here and you was really understanding, you would understand. If you would really see what I'm saying, like this shit was like really fucked up. It was a national travesty. It was a man-created disaster. It was a disaster on many fronts. People didn't give a fuck enough to actually build good levees. Then motherfuckers still didn't build good levees after the fucking fact. To this day, the water in New Orleans could really rise again. It's really not fixed. It's really not better. You know what I mean? So I think that's what irks me too. Is like, bitch, you over here moving here and shit, and I feel like I read somewhere that she moved to the 8th Ward or the 9th Ward or some shit, and I'm like, girl, I hope you have housing insurance, girl, because a lot of folks buy an area down there, and every time I go down there to chill by the water, I be like, damn, Mississippi, you high as hell. You high as fuck. Oh, scary. So, I don't know. A lot of folks want to move to New Orleans. They want to get this area near the Mississippi River. Like, bitch, depending on where you are near the river, they'll flood your ass out. Let that water get too high. When it rains here, the water accumulates. The whole, like, real talk, where I live in the city, I don't even live near the fucking water. Like, the water is not very close to me. I'm inland as fuck in terms of the city. Like, I want to say I'm at least a mile away from the water. At least. And when it rains, I can barely get into my fucking building because so much water has accumulated in front of my building. It's like a fucking moat. Real talk. And then over the days as the water goes down, it's wild because you be like just chilling on the sidewalk. You look down. It's wildlife in the water. It's like no matter how much water accumulates, it'll be a situation where, you know what, Magic Mike 41, I'm not at the parade because I'm poor. Because I can't afford to be at the parade today. Because you know what's on my priority list? Getting into this Beyonce video and doing my hair. I'm not mad. See, this is why I kind of can't stand about Periscope. It's like just because you be in a popular area, folks be feeling like you should be doing all types of shit that like you can't even really do. And I mean, real talk, I could go to the parade, but I'm not going to the fucking parade. I'm broke. Real talk. Like, I feel like that's part of it. I'm like, I don't feel like I got parade money. I can't really buy a light up sword. I can't really buy a fucking, all the snacks I like. I want a candy apple today. I wanted a fucking, I wanted some kettle corn today. I can't afford that today, but I can afford the other 3 packs I need to finish this hair. So I'm going to count my blessings. Yes, Beyonce came out with a new video today called Formation. And I just want to say my piece on it because it kind of fucked me up a little bit. I was kind of like, Beyonce, what's poppin'? But I feel like from what y'all are saying to me, you know, she's already done some Houston shit. She just did India. She might as well come through to New Orleans and pretend like she knows some shit about motherfucking black pain and further diaspora in terms of like just the fucking government not giving a franken fuck about the people. There's people out here, like people be killing me. They come to New Orleans, they be like, why is there so many homeless people? It's like, well, bitch, when the fuck did anybody get their home back? Like people forget, like after Katrina, insurance companies were dead ass like, fuck y'all. Like insurance companies dead ass was not fucking with the people here. They was not trying to give them no fucking help for their fucking houses. So it's like, what you do when you been paying your insurance on your house and all of a sudden you ain't got no house, or you have major fucking devastation happening in your house. Major fucking tragedy. And then I feel like the thing is, though, you gotta have money to sue. That's what a lot of people don't understand. You could sue anybody, seemingly, but you gotta have that coin up front. You can't just sue. You can't. And you can't just wait on your money to come through from litigation. J.G. Wentworth don't work like that. You can't just be like, J.G. Wentworth, I feel like I'm about to win this motherfucking settlement. Let me get 100,000 because it's gonna take me a little bit to get this money. You could try, but it's like, real talk, it's just not. It's not logical. It's like if you don't got money to fix your own house, how you got money to fight with a nigga in court about giving you money to fix your own house? There was one instance I remember in the Spike Lee documentary, I felt like touched on this, was when Wendell Pierce was talking about his father talking to the insurance man, and they've been paying their insurance for like 30 years. They had never had any issues with their house. And they paid on time or whatever, like respectable black folks, you know what I mean? They couldn't fathom why they was getting treated like common ass niggas. Because real talk, when Katrina hit, it was just niggas. Nobody didn't give a fuck who you was. If you was a nigga, if you was trying to survive, it probably looked niggerish to somebody, and they tried to fucking kill your ass. So many folks had so many things happen. I already shared before, my girlfriend's grandfather, he went missing. He wasn't able to evacuate with everybody else because he was in a different part of the state. So when folks, and like when everything hit, it kind of just like happened, you know what I mean? And so Sydney's mom happened to be with like Homeland Security. Like she started off working at Border Patrol, then she worked at Homeland Security. So like Sydney's mom definitely had like way more privileges in a lot of situations than other people, because she was able to use her employment to actually find her father, because there were so many people that were like, I don't know where anybody is, like they're just gone. And it's like just think about all the different scenarios. You could have been at a sleepover at your friend's house and a storm hit, and then nobody and your family didn't think it was gonna be that deep, or your family done wrote out other storms. There's so many things that happen, so many complex ways to like understand that this was definitely some horrific ass black pain. Like this was another instance of black trauma. And so I feel like for Beyonce to be on a cop car in some very clean looking water, like real talk, that water was toxic, y'all. The water came from the sewer. It came from the fucking river, and the river's fucked up. The river been fucked up. The river is very toxic. It is a acidic ass body of water in that bitch. Let me tell you. I swam in that river by accident one time because I fell in. I was doing some dumb shit. And next thing you know, when I fell in, I was like, fuck it, I'm wet. And then I started feeling itchy, bitch. I started feeling like shit was laying eggs in my skin. I had to go and wash my body. I had to boil my body, bitch. I had to make a fucking tub so hot, I could have caramelized some onions in that bitch. I was like, you know what? Let me go and clean my bus. And I had to bath bomb my pussy like 16 times just to feel like I could bust it again, because it felt so dirty. That water was not a game. So imagine that water just, you know what I mean? Piss, shit, everything in the water. You really think if you waiting in the water for a long time, you ain't gonna piss or shit in that water? You are. Thousands of people. And it's not about people being nasty. It's about fucking people being human and having real fucking, like, you know, things to do with their bodies, like involuntary reactions and shit. It just fucks me up because it's like Beyonce clearly like this is what her like second Super Bowl in a year. Like, didn't she do Super Bowl last year? I might be wrong. I feel like it might have been somebody else. I feel like it might have been Miley Cyrus last year. I don't know why I think that, but I feel like that. But she already did Super Bowl before. That was cute for her. Adorable. But I just feel like a lot of things are hyping up. And then like a lot, like, I don't know. I just feel like it's so much going on in the media. Like, it's overwhelming. It's safe to criticize what happened in Katrina now, I think, for black artists, because I feel like there was some blacklisting. Like, think about when Kanye said George Bush don't care about black people. He was really the only one to say that shit, and some niggas did agree, but for the most part, like, motherfuckers dragged his ass, and he was blacklisted, and then the Taylor Swift shit happened, I want to say, like, the next year. So it was just a lot of things happening for Ye. So I don't know. I just feel like fucked up about the whole shit. Because I just feel like Beyonce was nowhere near Katrina. She was nowhere near the fucking flooding. I don't think none of her family members have moved there yet. Maybe she had some family members that was there for a minute, but I don't think they was nowhere near that shit. They was probably in Uptown comfortable. But I'm just like, damn, Beyonce, what is poppin'? I hope that's not the case, Kosi sings. I just felt so fucked up about it. I was just like, damn, exactly. I didn't hear about no aid. No nothing. So I just feel kind of like, Beyonce, why the fuck are you in? Like, you could have been in New Orleans, like, just chilling. I feel like that would have been, like, less, like, ridiculous. I just feel like the flood had me fucked up. Like, I feel like that, like, if I could break it down for you, like, I feel like when the flood set it off, I was like, oh. And then as I kept watching, I was just like, oh my God, like, bitch, like, you don't even know. Like, again, I wasn't even here for Katrina, but it's like just being around Native folks who talk about it and only talk about it when, like, and the thing is, it's one of those things where it's like Native folks have like two different ways of talking about Katrina. And one way that I've experienced is like talking about like just losing people, talking about, you know, all the devastation, but also Katrina is a marker of time. I think that's also the thing is that, you know, we talk about, you know, how like early in you know, when people talk about the Bible and shit, after Christ, before Christ, like that's a marker of time. Like in New Orleans, like Katrina is a marker of time. People want to know, were you here for Katrina or after Katrina? Or they'll say, you know, around Katrina, or they'll say before Katrina, or they'll say, I got here after, like, you know what I mean? It's a marker of fucking time. People really do remember. And I feel like in parts of Texas, it is a little bit like that, because I had a friend who told me a couple stories about what happened after post-Katrina in Texas, and how things kind of got wild, and how people were just like, you know, really with the guns, and really just, you know, really militant against brown people and black people. And I was just like, damn, you know, it just seemed like there was a lot of issues going on, because it's like you can't flood out a bunch of people and think it's just gonna go away. I think people are really ignorant about the media, but I think because of that, it's exploitable. I feel like when our past is not recorded correctly, we're able to exploit that shit. So I feel like Beyonce is able to do this shit because I feel like so many people don't realize that Katrina, like, people think it was like a freak storm and people didn't know how to handle it. Like, that's what they think. They don't think about the fact that it was an engineering issue, that it was an issue about, you know, people not being able to evacuate because they just didn't have the money to. There's so many people every day that I see on the street, the same motherfuckers on the street. It's like, where were those people about to go? You know what I mean? It's like respectability politics go really fucking far and go really fucking deep. And I feel like when tragedies like this occur, people who are poor, people who are different, who are disabled, people who are not, you know, who are not able in the ways that other people are able, they do not have the same access. So I just felt like, damn, Beyonce, like, and some of the people that I seen on the video, they were just chilling on like stoop, relaxing. It's like, do those people even know what the fuck they're a part of, you know? It's like, did they just hear Beyonce video and was like, we cool? I don't know. I just feel like in ways, Beyonce really is doing a lot to stay relevant. And it's like depressing because it's like, damn, you know, I think a lot of people talk about her as a great, but I feel like in the society it's hard to be a great because I feel like there's no there's no veneer. You know what I mean? I feel like if we were able to have access to Whitney Houston 24/7, maybe we would have known a lot more, and maybe we wouldn't ride for her as hard as we do. Maybe we would have been able to know Aaliyah on a social media basis. Maybe we wouldn't fuck with her. But I feel like because we have so much access, I feel like we have so many ways to take shit and to understand things and understand our faves and our celebs, you know? And so I feel like because of that, I feel like in ways like, yes, Beyonce's an amazing performer. Yes, her voice is fucking brilliant. But I feel like what sets her apart from any of these other pop stars in terms of like her worth in our society? Like, what does she really do to, you know, help create change and help to pioneer shit? Because as far as I'm concerned, I feel like it's the same light skin, you know, different makeup, different fucking costumery, different location, you know what I mean? Different models around her. Like, I really don't feel like it's anything very different or very inspiring or interesting. And I feel like I want to take this moment to be like, you know what? If y'all really want to get into some New Orleans shit, if y'all really want to listen to New Orleans artists, you need to get into Tokyo Vanity. That bitch is real. She lives in the fucking East. She's a regular, degular, schmegular fucking artist, and her new song, Fetty, is fucking bomb. And I think that if Beyonce was really about that money and really about, not about that money, but about that fucking New Orleans life and about that, like, really caring for black folks in New Orleans, she would reach out to more of these, like, black femmes. Like, Katie Red would have been in some of her shit. The fact that she snatched Big Frida was like, duh. Like, Big Frida's, like, the biggest thing. But you could have been new. You could have popped out with Katie Red. You could have popped out with Katie and probably Frida. You could have popped out with Tokyo Vanity. Like, there's so many other people that I'm sure I'm not mentioning, but it's like there's so many people out here that are really grinding and really making music. Like, there's dudes on the corner that of my job every day that bring CDs and fucking headphones and have people listen to their fucking mixtape. Like, they're real. Like, they're just like, yo, we want to push our music. Like, they be doing acapella music in the fucking streets. These people out here are hungry and starving, and like, that's what you see. You see the hunger and the starvation, like, coming through the ways in which they trying to sell themselves. They're trying to put themselves out there in the struggle. And I just think in ways like Beyonce doesn't have that hunger. I think like everything that she's putting out now is just, I'm comfortable, I'm light-skinned, people accept me doing shenanigans because, again, I'm light-skinned, I have money, and people don't attribute me as well, and people don't attribute me to being just black. I think that's another layer to all this, is that like people really do see Beyonce as more than black. They see her, when she said in the song, you know, that mix that Negro with that Creole. And Creole is Negro. Like, you could, like, I feel like Creole is a way for, like, mixed black folks to just be like, well, I'm, you know what I mean? Like, I'm Grey Poupon, bitch. And you are motherfucking that regular yellow mustard. And it's kind of just like, well, you know what I mean? I just feel like, but I feel like low-key, ever since she put out that foundation shade, and people were like, Beyonce is French, African, Creole, and like Beyonce is French, Haitian, and what is it? French, Haitian, and like Creole and Spanish or some shit. So they were just saying that, yeah, Native American, and that's why they were explaining her shade on like CoverGirl and some shit. They was like, this is Beyonce's shade. Like, she's mixed with da 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 da. So that's why her shade is this. And I'm like, girl, that is a sun beige. Keep it real. It's a fucking sun beige. It's a little bit warmer than these other white bitches y'all be showing, but don't give it too much. Like, don't give it too much. It's a sun beige. So, exactly. But I feel like mixed has been a color. Look, I almost choked my damn self. But mixed has been a color. I feel like when we talk about mixedness, we're always talking about light-skinned folk. I feel like we're always talking about exoticals. You know what I mean? I feel like it's very rare that when we talk about mixed people, people are really including darker-skinned folks, melanated folks, black-appearing folks. You know what I mean? Like non-ambiguously racial-looking folks. I feel like it's very coded. So, with that being said, I feel like when she said mix that Creole with that Negro, I'm like, it just gave me that just black vibes. You know, it gave me that I'm more than just black. Like, I'm black and. What is PMO? Yeah, mother, she is. She is. Like, I feel like Beyonce's been a coon for a minute. I feel like she's been a misogynist as well. I feel like a lot of the music that they sang in Destiny's Child was problematic, and I feel like nobody wants to say anything about it because, again, I feel like the ways in which we remember the 90s, the ways in which we remember the early 2000s is very romanticized. I feel like that's a romantic, that's it. I feel like the 90s, early 2000s seems like a romantic period in history. I feel like everything comes full circle. So I feel like there's a romantic period for everything, and I feel like people really do think the 90s and the early 2000s was really like a something different, and I feel like it really wasn't. I feel like people are continuously anti-black, and I feel like the little bit of shine that black folks did get came at a price, and I feel like folks don't want to pay that price no more, and I feel like folks are sick of being exploited, and I feel like that's why people are, no longer working, because I feel like folks are like, feeling high in their puss, because we're in the social media age. People can come through and say their thoughts real quick on a Periscope. They can come through in an Instagram video. They can tweet some shit real quick. 140 characters. People feel brave. People feel bold. And people feel feel like philosophizing. Or philosophizing. Blah, blah, blah. People feel like just pontificating. You feel me? People feel like posting up and politicking about how the fuck they feel. So I feel like because of that, it's real easy to block a nigga these days. It's real easy to block somebody because they too talkative. Because you can actually finally see what your fave thinks. I feel like back in the day, you would have to wait for your fave to do a fucking interview for you to know anything about this motherfucker. You be loving somebody, you don't even know nothing about them, then you watch an interview, you're like, God damn, you're cooler. Or, no, I don't fuck with you. Now it's like, these niggas be all over. They be at the radio, they be on the Twitter. They be all over the place. So it's like, you're able to kind of come up with a million different ways of understanding your fave. So I feel like as much as I loved Beyonce for so long, I feel like my draw to Beyonce was this romanticized idea of a black woman. I feel like in ways, like, I think, yes, Beyonce is black, but I feel like her claiming her blackness is very political, and I feel like it's a little respectable. And I feel like you have to really be out of touch to try to recreate a black American tragedy. Because I feel like white Americans were affected by Katrina, but I feel like the folks that were affected by Katrina that were non-black, I want to say a lot of them were taken care of. I want to say a lot of them got a lot of the care, and a lot of them were taken care of to the point where white folks were just fucking blatantly lying and getting FEMA checks and pretending to be a part of the motherfucking problem, or rather be a part of the fucking tragedy. So I feel like there were black folks that were involved in the shit that could not prove that they were from here because they didn't have no fucking ID or some shit, or they didn't have no fucking deed, like little shit like that. People was like, where's your deed? It's like, nigga, my house isn't not even here. My house done floated downtown. Like, they just did so much. They treated these people so fucking terribly. So I just feel like Beyonce's just not very, very aware. And I feel like there's been a lot of instances where you could kind of tell she has a lack of awareness. So I don't know. I'm just kind of underwhelmed, and I'm sad because I feel like, who doesn't wait for Beyonce to come and slay? I feel like it's exciting. I feel like it's exciting just waiting, anticipating, knowing she's out there. You know what I mean? Working. Like I know she a Virgo. I fuck with Virgos for the most part, but I don't know. I feel like Virgos be problematic, and I feel like people don't drag them because, like, they only really chill with their friends. Like, I feel like they're really low key people, so I feel like they really avoid drags to the max because they're so low key. Because no one wants to drag a Virgo. It's hard. Plus, like, Virgos be having, like, low self-esteem sometimes, too. So, like, you be feeling bad about dragging them. Because you're just like, oh, is this a cry for help? Like, what the fuck is this? So, sorry, Virgo. No shade. But anyways, I'm going to go because I need to finish this hair. And I'm not going to be able to do it here because I want to talk too damn much. But I appreciate y'all for watching. I'm going to upload this on YouTube, though. Bye. I came 5 years after Katrina. I had relatively no understanding of the complexity of Katrina, because my only knowledge was watching the news coverage in class when it was happening, and when I was in the East Coast, and buying that fucking Spike Lee documentary, which I regret because I feel like Spike Lee wasn't there the fuck neither. So I feel like, yes, like, he's like a black director and shit like that, but I feel like there's so many black directors in New Orleans that I know that I'm sure have their own, documentaries of shit that happened that'll never see the light of day because people like Spike Lee just fucking come through and they see blackness as a monolith. Like, there's so many black famous people that see blackness as a monolith. They think and I feel like low-key Beyonce is one of those black people, because I feel like you have to really be jaded as fuck. You have to really be, like, wanting to, like, be a fucking energy vampire to go to New Orleans and recreate some fucking tragedy that was like man-made. It's like, you can say whatever you want about the storm happening, but the storm is not what destroyed New Orleans infrastructure and flooded out those people. And the storm wasn't what didn't respond to the people immediately. You feel what I'm saying here? Like, this was a fucking national tragedy. And I just feel like Beyonce is again in the media pretending to be somewhere, you know what I mean? Because it's like, even if she was in India, bitch, you was never in India in a movie. Like, you was never in India as a god. You've never been an Indian god. So it's just like, I just feel like it's that light skin, like ambiguously racial shit where I feel like if she was darker skinned, people would have a problem with this. People would have a problem with her, or not, perhaps not for this video, but the Indian video. If she was a darker skinned entertainer, Southeast Asian folks, Desis, they would have fucking dragged. They would have went in. But in terms of this, I feel like Beyonce is Southern and be claiming, you know, my mom is from Louisiana, so I can claim this. And I just wonder, you know, about parental heritage and like how much we can really claim, you know what I mean, if our parents aren't really claiming the shits, you know what I mean? It's like, for so long, you've been claiming Texas. Your family's been claiming Texas. So it's like, as much as I said she could come to New Orleans and do something and nobody would be mad, this is what I meant. She could come to New Orleans and do some fucking appropriative ass shit, do some insensitive ass shit, and nobody cares really. And I'm saying that in terms of like just folks in the community participating in this shit. You know, I've seen a lot of familiar faces in that. I'm done. What up? I'm still not done. I'm still working on my hair. I still need to go and get more packs. But I have a bad feeling that because of the parade today, all the places are about to be closed at like 4 o'clock. I'm going to call the hair store and see, but I don't know why. You can watch it online. You can watch it anywhere online. Yeah, I did a lot, but I'm not all the way done. Oh, I'm glad that y'all were watching my vids. That's cute. But yeah, I'm almost done. I have a large section. It's like a large middle section, but this shit is taking me a minute. My girlfriend, I don't think she didn't like it. I think like she just really hasn't commented on on it. Like, it's been a crazy past couple of days. Like, she's been working so hard because, you know, makeup artists in the city, like for Mardi Gras, like there's money to be made. And book to read me, I said I'm roasting the video. It says Beyonce video roast. But I mean, I feel like if you got feelings about Beyonce, I wouldn't have any feelings about anybody who had feelings about Beyonce. You know, I'm also cool with people who don't like Beyonce. That's okay. I don't think the song is trash. I just think it's a very, like, it just seems really forced, low-key. Mainly, Beyonce just put out a song on a new video called Formation. If you haven't seen it, it takes place in post-Katrina New Orleans, meaning like there was water that was flooding, and like it low-key, like ever since I started dating my partner, like her just talking to me about the insensitivity of people just asking questions like, what was it like, you know, or people even just coming up and being like, was this area flooded, you know, and I don't have those memories. I don't know what it's like to like wake up and essentially everything you ever knew is gone. To have your home be destroyed. I just felt like it was a situation where, you know, it just felt very exploitative. Mainly because she is so rich and she's been rich for a minute, and she was rich when Katrina happened. So it was one of those things where it's like, I don't know exactly what you did during Katrina, boo, but like seemingly people fuck with you. But I feel like people fuck with Beyonce and Jen. I don't think they know I don't think anybody knew that Beyonce was like flooding a part of New Orleans, or like implying that a part of New Orleans was flooded and sitting on top of a cop car. You know what I mean? And then the like her at the end drowning with the cop car. I just thought that shit was just like, it was like faux symbolic. Like, it just made me feel like any person who lived in New Orleans who was an entertainer could have used that and it been like 100% more understandable than Beyonce, because I just felt like Beyonce, like, where were you during Katrina, girl? I low-key want to find out, like, because I'm just like, I know you wasn't in the water. I know you wasn't stranded on a cop car. So I feel kind of fucked up about it, if I'm being quite honest with you. And again, I wasn't here for Katrina.